Today on All Out Brick, we're going to be taking a look at Bionicle set 8539, the Man-Ass. We're going to build them, review them, and then give out a score. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Christian from All Out Brick. If you're a first-time viewer, welcome to our channel, and if you've seen us before, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Bionicle Man-Ass from 2001. This will completely cap off our Bionicle 2001 series, and yes, of course, we'll be moving forward with more Bionicle sets in the future, near future actually, but this is the last of the 2001 sets, the Man-Ass. As for their lore, plain and simple, the Man-Ass were tanks. These crab-like Rahi cannot be defeated by a lone Toa, and instead require the formation of a Toa Kaita to take place to really actually be threatened. They served as the guardians of the Makuta's lair in 2001. Makuta was a smart son of a gun and placed a lot of heating towers where they resided because the Man-Ass were actually strengthened by heat, making Tahu essentially irrelevant if you ask me. They were a lot smarter than the other Rahi as well. I imagine that the Toa stumble upon these and were like, you gotta be kidding me. What are these? I thought these things were supposed to be idiots. Looking at the box, we get our familiar Po-Wahi background. Towards the bottom left of this front of the box, we kind of can tell that it's starting to fade into that Nui Rama background of that lava river. And I wonder if there's an image out there where it's all of the Rahi blended together and it kind of makes this larger portrait picture. Towards the top, next to the logo, we also see that there's the two remote controls indicating, yes, of course, this has RC functions built in. Cannot wait to test those out later once we finish everything. And in the bottom right, we see that people are, testing out the play features of the Man-Ass crabs. The bottom of the box, which is usually useless, lets us know that we're going to need 12 AA batteries. 12. That is not a mistake. That's a lot. On the back of the box, we have basically the same layout we've seen for every other Rahi so far. We've got pictures of people battling with the two Man-Ass crabs, a hint image of the combination model, and then some more up-close pictures of them fighting, different play functions. Of course, we see the one Man-Ass knocking off the orange mask off the other in the bottom left, and in the bottom right corner, we have the Bionicle.com advertisement. At the top of the box, we have a couple more views of the Man-Ass crabs, some zoomed in pictures from the front of the box, and on the side we have the exact same pictures, the front just slightly more cropped. Last but not least, on the other side of the box, we of course have Tahu, who is always fighting a Rahi. This one looks to be pretty close to scale, and I'm pretty sure they just took the image of someone controlling the Man-Ass crab from the front of the box. Kind of wish they took a new picture for this. Heck, why didn't they just have Tahu actually next to all these Rahi? Why'd they have to do this? I don't know. 2001, long time ago. Inside we receive a total of 4 bags, 2 for each of the crabs included in this set. There are also quite a bit of unbagged parts as well. There's the 2 main hubs is what I'll call them, the remotes and treads, along with the instructions and advertisement material. The instructions for the orange and white Man-Ass crab are the thicker ones for this set, and therefore include the instructions for the combination model. This set is packed full of new features and building techniques, so let's go ahead and get right on with the base model builds. Alright, so I just finished up the Man-Ass base model builds. I have to say, these are definitely my favorite ones so far, and it's going to be really tough to beat them in the future. Build time was about 1 hour. I think it was a couple minutes less than that. However, I was using the play functions and testing them out a little bit while I was building, so in reality, it took somewhere between 45-50 minutes, which is about what I expected. Back to the models themselves. They're great. They really are the best Rahi. Moaka and Kanai were great base models as well. These are just a different tier, and mostly, yes, it's because of the RC functions. That's a big part of it. But they just give off this essence of like the thickness to them and how wide they are really makes them feel like, yeah, these are a tough enemy to beat. And when you're playing with them, the masks are really hard to knock off, which I kind of fill in as like not a complaint, but like a con for the model. However, this makes sense. When you think about the lore, these are supposed to be the hardest ones to defeat. Their masks should be the hardest ones to knock off. So I really can't give too much hate on that part. Another thing that I think is really great about this model are the eyes and the mouth section. It obviously gives it that crab look. But when that mouth flips down, it's connected by rubber bands. And what happens is the man-ass crab gets stuck in place. So if you knock your opponent's thing down, it just flips up and it's just stuck. It can't move anywhere. It can only punch. It can defend itself because you can move in and it could still punch that mask off if it got a couple good shots. But it's going to be much harder. It's going to be way easier for you just to dominate. I had it on like this table here, and so like you would flip it up and you could almost just barrel roll the other mad-ass crab off the table. Of course I didn't because it would break, but yeah, so that's a great advantage if you can flip that thing up. I guess if I was playing someone in like a match with these two, I would probably say you get 10 or 15 seconds with that thing flipped up until I go in and flip it back so that everyone can, go back and forth. How it actually works is there are 3 channels on the man-ass crabs. It's 1, 2, 3, and there's actually also one called all, and that's only specific to the remotes. But so the man-ass crab has 1, 2, and 3, and it's basically like a radio channel. If this is channel 1, you want the remote for it to be channel 1. If this is channel 2, you want the remote for this to be channel 2. So you can control them separately, different frequencies. What this allows, though, is endless possibility. You could have like 7 man-ass crabs. Of course, I don't know how strong the signal is, and maybe it couldn't power 7, but imagine 7 man-ass crabs all on channel 1. It would be hard to control because like you'd have 2 over here. If you turned left with both, they wouldn't be going towards the target if the target was in the center here. Duh. But yeah, pretty cool. And moving them around, it took a couple minutes. There was a bit of a learning curve. I think after like 2 or 3 minutes, I was really comfortable with it and was really just rolling with the play function and the RC controls. I was making them do circles, back and forth, turning. There's actually, I think there's 4 different buttons. There's one controls the right side, the left side, going forwards, and then right side, left side going backwards. And so you can use those independently, combine them. When you combine them in a certain way, they do the circles, like I said. I think that's hysterical. They just sit around doing circles. Something I like about the color choices here is this is actually a very similar color combination to Muwaka. It's really identical. This one, the white, I really like the white accents. I think it's cool because they're in these very dark chambers. So for this white design to come out, it's just the white and orange really pops to me. And I think of this as almost like, obviously it's not actually in Kokoro, but I imagine this is like more of a colder region man-ass crab, whereas this one's like the main man-ass crab. Of course, this is the one we see in Matanui Online Game 1 as well. When I first went into building these, I thought they were going to be a little bit smaller, which is a good thing that they're bigger, of course. I thought they were actually going to be probably like 2/3 as wide as they really are. They're really wide. I think if you laid a Toa down, it's probably wider than a Toa is tall. So very big models, just overall, I just really like these base models. If this combination model is anywhere near what these are, be prepared for a really high score because this is going to be a very tough base model to beat for the future sets of Bionicle. I'm not really sure how much better they could get. I've really enjoyed these so much. A tip I've got for everybody who's building man-ass on their own is build them at the same time. They're very repetitive, even within each other. You build the right side, then you build the left side, and they're just mirrored images of each other. So when I was building the second man-ass crab, I actually built them at the same time because they were just mirrored. So, a little bit of brain work there, got it to work. But I would actually, if I could go back, just build them at the same time and do that as well. So, it would really drop the build time because when you have to go back and build it again, it takes longer than if you did just do both at the same time. That would be my tip to you if you were building these yourselves. The man-ass crab's combination model is the Manico, and the Manico is what seems like a pretty unstoppable Rahi. It attacks anything that moves and can shoot this, I guess, slurge or something out of its mouth that can disintegrate whatever it hits, which I don't really know where those show up in canon. I know they do, but I don't think you can stop that. It would take a lot of Toa might to stop that. So what I'm going to do is break these base models down, and we're going to go ahead and build the Manico. So let's get started. All right, so I just finished the Manico build, and I have to say, after a 40-minute build, I really do think it's important first, before I get into the review, that we take a moment of brief silence, really for everybody that went up against this thing on Motunui. I mean, good God, this thing's a tank. It's a literal tank. It really expands upon the base models in a great way. I mean, yes, you have the treads on the bottom that look the same, and the obviously the functions are going to be the same because it's the RC. But man, this really did a great job. The arms, instead of like punching, they grab, like they're these little claws, and if you flick, when it flicks forwards, it actually grabs. So a little bit of a different function there. It's actually got a head. If we remember from the Muwaka Kanera video, I wasn't really thrilled about the head choice for the combination model. Bam. They know what they're doing. The designers know what they're doing, because this is such a different... I didn't expect it. I built like the second level here, and I was like, this is pretty cool and everything. But then like the head came up, I was like, what is this thing? And then once I realized it was a head, it was like, oh my God, like, I'm really not sure how you're supposed to defeat this thing. Granted, the one thing that is restricted on this model is it can't really attack low, obviously. Like, it just can't bend low. But in order to take its masks off, you're going to have to come up pretty high. So good luck to anyone who tries to come up, or to a Toa Kaita that's really brave enough to try to go against this Manico. You're not going to have a fun time. You're just not. The only other downside in this model that I found is that due to all this extra weight, it's a little bit harder to make turns. Going forwards and backwards straight, it flies. I think it might even move faster than the Manas. It's definitely smoother going forwards and backwards than the regular base model. So, I mean, that's just physics for you. But yeah, turning is a little bit of a problem. Something else in here that really stood out to me is the fact that 2 people get to use this model. Of course, that doesn't have to be the case if you set them to the same channel. There's both of the hubs are on here. We have one up in the upper that controls the arms, and then the one that controls the treads. So you could set them both to the same channel, and I'm pretty sure that's probably how they intend it to be. However, if you have 2 people, you could have one punch with the arms and one move the legs, and you could switch back and forth. So it was great playability there. It is originally for kids, so always got to keep that in mind when we do these reviews. So I like what happens there. Hey, the only problem though is if you're battling against someone else that has a Manico, what happens if they decide to switch to all? Could they I guess that works for the base models too. Could they then control? I don't know how that would work. That would be a sneaky trick. But yeah, overall, I mean, really great combination model. I think this absolutely tops off Bionicle 2001 on a fantastic note. The Manas is a set. It's going to be a big score. I'll give you that warning. When it comes to pricing, the Manas are definitely a victim, and it's probably because it's such a great set. It's going to cost you a lot. To get it used, you're going to pay about $160, $170, and brand new, you're looking at $300 plus. So, and the thing is with RC, sometimes you do want to go new because the parts are, they're going to work. If you buy used, sometimes those the electronics aren't functioning properly. So unfortunately, it is in that case that's so expensive, but it really is a great set, and that kind of factors into the score a little bit. Just in terms of, if you want this, just go get it now. It's only going to get more expensive. These parts are not going to be easy to bricklink. Like, I can't even imagine trying to get these remotes and these hubs on bricklink. Forget it. So if you want these sets, I'd probably just right after this video, just go to Bricklink or eBay or something. Just go buy it if you find a reasonable deal, because it's just going to keep going up. It's just going to keep getting more expensive, and I can see why now that I've actually built it. Now onto the score. It's going to be big. I'm going to go 9-1. I'm going to go 9-1 for the Manas. Fantastic set, best one of 2001, and it's going to be tough to beat from here on out for future Bionicle sets. I just had such a great time with this. It was such a step up, and I think this probably benefited a lot, is that it was such a step up from its previous sets that I built of the Rahi. Like, if I started out with this, it probably wouldn't be getting as high of a score, but having built the other Rahi first, it's just that much better. It really is, and the RC functions, I'm so glad they included this. I'm not really sure how many Bionicle sets have an RC function, I mean, the only one I remember is the Manass. I'm sure there's other ones down the line that, I think the Scopia, did that one have? I don't know. We'll see when we get to the other ones if they have RC functions. But anyways, 9-1, that's your review. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give us a nice thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel to be the first to see all of our future content. Also be sure to check us out on our website and on our Facebook and Instagram pages. Until next time, stay bricking.